Because the signal up there wasn't,
Okay.
but I think they're open now. For like, up by Pierce.
Oh, that was near Bald Mountain.
Yeah, Bald
Or-
Mountain.
Yeah.
They weren't open. So they're open. No. And I
Nice.
take the kids up on the razor and drop them.
Oh, yeah, cool.
Yeah,
I love
we are-
references to carbon.
It is 12 o'clock.
All right, it's 12 o'clock and that's here. So I'll go ahead and call the meeting to, the February 25th meeting to order and open it up for citizen comments. You're our only, all right. With there being no citizen comments, I'll open up the active agenda to review the draft of the 2024 annual report.
Okay. So like I mentioned at the last meeting, we hold a public hearing on the annual report in March. So that will be at our next meeting, but you guys get to review it first. So if there are any changes, any additions, deletions, et cetera, that you want me to make, I can get those done prior to the public hearing. So, this was sent out to you last week. I printed everybody a copy so we can kind of just go through it page by page. And then if you have any questions, suggestions, et cetera, we can make those things happen. Okay, so you have this cover page, table of contents, annual report. So this kind of just carries over because it gives kind of that basic description of how the URA came to be, what you guys are, what Idaho law says about it, what our objectives are, et cetera. We did amend this a little bit last year on the suggestion of Mr. Gish, who thought that there was some additional language that didn't need to be in there that was making it confusing. So this reads the same as it did last year because those things don't change. How you were established stays the same, what you are as a member board, what Idaho law says about it, what our objectives are, and then source of agency revenues, that again, just goes by what kind of the law is. So it says how much of the increment like comes from the city, you know, all different things, how much by statute that you can do of the community's total value, et cetera.
Okay, I have a question.
Yeah.
Maybe mine didn't print off right. So the county and the school district percentages and
Oh, they didn't show up. Okay, I will make sure that that shows. I know that there's a digital copy they show. Maybe they got cut off.
do you have them?
Yeah.
No, yeah, you have the city.
Yeah, I don't have
The
them.
county and you can see that they got like cut off.
Yeah, you don't have the county or the school district.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, so they got cut off. I will note that and update that. I just got cut off when I copied and pasted stuff. So, okay, I will get that fixed. So then next page is exhibit 2. So this is the percentage of taxing districts assessed value subject to the URA. This information comes from that September values worksheet that I received from the county. And so those were updated according to that. So City of Lewiston's at 6.25, Nez Perce County at 4.27, Independent School District at 4.72, and Port of Lewiston at 4.27.
And those are September 2023 values.
Correct. Or those are,
That's what it says there.
thank you for catching that. I need to update that also. Okay, so then it moves into work focus for fiscal year 2025. So this is just what we are hoping to do in the next year. So East Orchard Sewer, request for bids for segments 17, 18, and 19 will be advertised in February, with possible bid award in April, and construction of those sewer lines in summer and or fall of 2025. So you've heard about that briefly from Joe Kaufman at the last meeting. That did go out for its first advertisement last week. Second advertisement, I believe, is today. And then opening of bids is March 18th. So that will be,
Question, Katie,
yes, sir.
should we say we're advertised in February 2025 instead of will be?
Yeah, that makes
Change
sense.
that.
Page 5, bottom.
Okay. So then moving forward, so then Brighton Avenue, area number 6. So since we're currently kind of in the wait and accrue section, I put the URA is accruing increment while waiting for the other involved entities, the city, Lewiston Orchards Irrigation District and Lewiston Orchards Sewer District to receive federal funding for the acquisition of right-of-way. The URA will continue to communicate with these partners on the availability of funds and the eligible projects the URA may participate in. If you guys think I should add anything to that, please let me know. But currently, we are kind of waiting on those other parties. We do have that agreement with Lewiston Orchards Irrigation District regarding paying for half of water lines going into Brighton. My understanding is that that will not occur until the city moves forward with tearing everything up,
Which is a ways off.
which is a ways off. Okay, no suggestions, no changes for that one? Okay, moving on. Next one is downtown / Normal Hill, which is area number 7. City of Lewiston is pursuing a general obligation bond to fund a large infrastructure project within the downtown corridor. URA will continue to communicate with the city on eligible projects that the URA may participate in. We previously discussed this at a previous meeting with the city engineer, Luke Antonich, regarding the projects that are called out specifically in our plan for that area and how those might interface if the city is successful in getting that bond to do the infrastructure work and rebuild of Maine. So again, that's kind of a wait and accrue situation. Okay. And then work completed in fiscal year 2024. For Maine, East Maine, that's the one that we closed. So I'm kind of just giving the history of that we voted in March of 2024 to close Maine, East Maine number 4. Public hearing was held at our May 14th URA meeting regarding the budget amendment to terminate the Maine, East Maine revenue allocation area. And we adopted resolution 2024-1 regarding that termination. Lewiston City Council then approved that resolution at the June 10th, 2024 meeting, and rebates to the taxing entities were made in August, September, and November, totaling $1,134,893.30. So that's kind of that. Next one is East Orchard Sewer. The design of segment 7 was completed and a rock boring study of all remaining segments was conducted. The city submitted a letter of interest to DEQ for additional funding that could potentially be used towards the East Orchard Sewer project, but unfortunately the city was not awarded funding. URA will continue to partner with the city on design and possible construction of the extension of sewer lines to eliminate septic systems and promote development.
Did DEQ say why we
We were like,
weren't successful?
we just weren't like I think they awarded like top 3, and I think we were like 4 or 5. So it wasn't so much that they didn't think our projects were worthy of funding, but they only had so much money. And we were not in the top 3 that they awarded funds to. But my understanding is that's like an every other year grant opportunity. We have been successful in the past to get some of those monies. And my understanding is that the Public Works Department plans on continuing to apply for it every year if we're eligible. So that's East Orchards. So then on Brighton, I added like additional information to Brighton just because we have not done anything. And I feel like it's good to have kind of the history of stuff in there. And it's always a good reminder, especially since we're not actively doing things with this revenue allocation area quite yet. So I have, and so parts of this is from previous years. City entered into a final design contract for Brighton Avenue from 4th to 7th in December of 2021. The URA will continue to provide local maps throughout construction. Evaluation of underground utilities will commence during the reconstruction of Brighton Avenue. The URA plans to split the costs for water and sewer improvements with Lloyd and LOSD. In November of 2022, the URA approved a reimbursement agreement with the Lewiston Orchards Irrigation District for up to 50% of the costs associated with water line improvements. Design continued to progress, and the city held a public hearing on January 17th, 2023 to gather input on the design. And in 2024, a community impact assessment technical report was prepared and submitted for review leading to approval for proceeding with an environmental document under the category exclusion determination. The city, state, and consultant are beginning negotiations to finalize the environmental document, complete the right-of-way package, and assess the feasibility of a 3-lane roadway with roundabouts. And that last bit I received from engineer in charge from our public works department.
So the URA where it splits the cost with LOID, there's an agreement.
That's
to
the
that.
agreement that we signed a couple
Do
years
we
ago.
need to like say the date of the agreement and maybe document that somewhere in there so we can reference it?
I could if you want me to.
I don't know, what does that think?
Dad, do you think it would be important in the annual report to have the date of when we signed the document with Blue Source Irrigation District for like the 50-50 split for utilities?
I don't know that it's necessary, but I sure would, I think it'd be helpful information.
Just in case we're not doing one.
Okay. Do that. Okay, and then downtown Norman Hall number 7, there was no work completed in the downtown RA this year. The newly formed district will need to approve increment for a few years prior to contracting for any major projects.
Is there, I'm sorry, Tim, go ahead.
Oh, I just quit.
Is there identified projects in this?
Yes. Yeah, you can't open a revenue allocation array without identified projects.
Mhm. So what is it?
I couldn't tell you off the top of my head. I can provide you with a copy of the plan.
I'm just playing catch up here, so.
Yeah, no, I can
No.
definitely provide you with a copy of the plan. I just don't have them all memorized.
No identified plans that we would participate in necessarily, just
Yes, so
a
in.
list of projects that are.
Yes, so,
available.
yes, there is a list of projects that were identified in the downtown corridor that were needed, right? They're not necessarily things that the URA is gonna do independently, though. It's more likely that we will do them in conjunction with the city, hopefully, when they do the Main Street reconstruction. But Doug, I can send you a copy of the plan, and it has everything listed out.
Okay, I can ask Joe for it, he probably has paperwork.
I would imagine, yeah,
I don't know, we've been cleaning offices, trying to get ready to
I move.
move, so.
Yeah, I can send you a digital, totally.
Mhm.
Okay, so then past investments, so this kind of just refers back to the different tables, and we'll go through the tables. And so see table 1 for summary primary or past investments, and then financial statement. The agency ended the fiscal year with $2,134,856 in revenues, $628,518 of which guarantees an outstanding bond. That's for the East Orchard Sewer District or Sewer project. A summary of financial activity for 2024 is attached in table 5. The 2025 budget is attached in table 6. And then the last independent audit for Lewiston Urban Renewal Agency was March 12th of 2024. And you'll hear the audit for fiscal year 24 at the March meeting. President Gage will come and do that.
So would this be a good place to maybe put the bonds and list all the payments? Or were you thinking for East
We
Orchard?
could put it there, yeah. So Sheila had brought up earlier that she wondered about including the information for East Orchard Sewer, what the original bond amount was, all of the bond payments that the URA has made, plus the additional principal payments you guys have made, and just have that kind of as an additional table.
Yeah. Because right now it just shows the bond, what we owe, and then just the current fiscal year we're in, not the whole project.
Yeah, so we'll just show the current fiscal year's payment, not all
Will
the
it?
previous payments.
Will it show the expected increase in valuation of that area that's done?
The bond summary would not know.
It's just gonna show. our
Is that part of the calculations that are made when projects?
In
develop?
the plan, that's in there,
It's
yeah.
in the plan,
Uh-huh,
what we think the value increase is gonna be?
I believe this.
Okay.
You want me to send you a copy of that plan too?
Oh, I thought it was the same plan.
No, this is just for the bond.
Oh, yeah.
So you would not put the entirety of each revenue allocation area's plan in your annual report. I guess you could, I don't know why you would do that. But Sheila was just saying for the bond.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in
Yeah,
that
it
particular
shows-
RA, we carry a bond, and so she was thinking
Yeah.
that, you know, in the different financial, things, we show the payment we made on the bond just for the last year. But having a table that shows origination of the bond, all the bond
All
payments, including the additional principal payments that have been made to date, and then when the payoff is expected.
Mhm.
And you're talking about the expected value of the whole project, right?
Mhm.
But no, the expected value is not included in the bond
Not
payment
the
summary.
bond, yeah.
Joe Gish, I think, has put together some
Yeah, you
good work
should
on that.
definitely talk to him about the different things he put together at each.
Yeah, he
He
had
did a
said something
lot.
about wanting to do that. I don't know if he got to it.
He did,
I
'cause he
think he
presented
got
it.
it.
to us.
Oh, he did?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it looks good.
Yeah, he did a ton of stuff. He had like graphs and,
Yeah,
all kinds of
he
stuff.
needed to
Yep.
share with me how he did that.
Yeah, he did a lot of really cool stuff.
So. Cool. Yeah, so if we could put that in there somewhere, I'm not sure where it would fit. It's there or if you have a better place.
I mean, we could probably just do a separate line, maybe. That just says like East Orchards sewer bond.
I just love to be able to look and see the light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah.
Right,
Well, it's like it shows the
Yeah,
bond
right.
and then you look and it's like you go look at everything, it only shows the payments for the fiscal year that we're in. But it'd be nice to see all of them,
okay.
but that's.
I will make a table and I will add the table underneath assets and I'll just have a separate heading for it. I'll just do East Orchard sewer bond. And then I'll make a table showing origination of the bond, all the payments that have been made. And then the end.
Yeah, perfect.
Like what the current balance is and what that payout is supposed to be. Okay, super. Okay, so then so next is table 1, which shows it's called URA investments. This isn't like invested money. This is the money that was put back into the community through projects. And it lists all RAAs that have ever existed, even the closed ones. And this is just something that it's a running whole kind of deal. So the only change I made from last year to this year was just showing the closeout of Main East Main. And then adding under East Orchard Sewer, that phase, I called it phase 4, final design of the 2100 block of Brill Ave, rock boring study of all remaining segments, and what that cost was. So that's that. And then table 2 is URA expenditures for revenue allocation area and then other funds leverage. So other funds leverage is like, you know, when we partnered with the city on something or with another entity on something. Private property owner, etc. So this hasn't been updated by much because we didn't spend that much money in areas last year. Just because we only had the little bits of projects, not a large project like we'll see come through this year. Okay, then table 3 is a summary statement for the calendar year of 2024. So that has bank balances as of 12/31 of 24, bond balance for East Orchard Sewer, the balance to the city, and then contracted services. So that's like that outlying payment still to be made on segment 7 and the rock boring, just things that haven't been cashed out yet. And then, so then it shows project costs, so that is your design and rock boring costs, and then operating expenses, attorney staff, etc. Then table 4 is budget to actually. So we developed a budget, we do it each August, we have our public hearing, We get information from the county regarding what kind of revenue we're gonna get from taxes. We put out what all of our normal expenses are, and then any expected expenses, associated with project costs. And so this is showing those two together. So you have a budget for each of your areas and then what was actually spent. So you'll see, for budget area number 4, that's the Main East Main, there's a lot of extra lines because of the closure of that and the payout of rebates to the tax unit. Questions? It's a lot of.
And it's still got money that we're gonna disperse later, is that correct? Am I looking at that right? It's area 4.
Yeah, well, so that part's actually cleared out,
Oh, okay.
and that lasts a little bit, because that was, so this is the fiscal year, so that was what was paid out in November.
Gotcha.
I
I was really hopeful when you brought that.
I know, I was like, I see money.
Yeah, that 4,000 has already gone out,
Yeah.
that was the
Look at
first
I
in
didn't think
November.
it was.
Done.
No, but you have to remember that fiscal year ends
Yeah.
September 30th,
Yeah.
so a little bit did trickle in after that, and then, but that just got kicked back out.
Gotcha.
I know, that bothered me for a second, 'cause
I
I
know.
was like, why is it not 0? But then I have to remember that
Yeah.
fiscal year and like,
Yeah.
things keep chugging along, so, no, there's, that money's gone. We've written those checks, that has come back to its taxing entity, so. And then table 5 is summary of activities, so this is everything, for the whole year, for each of the revenue allocation areas. So again, Main East Main number 4, which is the second column, has the most numbers in it because of, the various rebates that we did to, the taxing entities to close out that, revenue allocation area. So then table 6 is a copy of, your fiscal 25 budget. This was adopted at our August 13th, 2024 meeting. So this again is where, these numbers I will get to use next year for the budget to action, so. So then there are maps of our, revenue allocation areas. I did leave Main East Main in there, even though it is closed, just because there is a summary of the year in total. And so next year you won't see that map, obviously, when I do report it. So then you have your maps. And then the last one is kind of an informational sheet. So this is just an example of how your tax bill might look if you were in a revenue allocation area. And then Sheila sent me, a very smart move on her end. So I have 2 sheets for you guys. She put this through Chat GPT to see if they had any suggestions for improvement. This one that has the little, the color, the light bulb and stuff. I really like the way that it explained, and so that might be something that we add to this sheet. Just because it seemed like it made, at least to me, it makes a lot of sense.
It's easy to understand.
Yeah.
Yes, it's a
Yeah.
simplified version, so I thought that was super awesome, and so I wanted the group to talk about that and see what you guys think. So it says a simplified explanation of property tax in a URA area. So what's happening? If you own property in a revenue allocation area, a portion of your property taxes goes to fund local improvements, like roads, sewer systems, and public spaces. Does this increase my taxes? No, your total property tax bill stays the same. The difference is how your tax dollars are distributed. Some go to the urban renewal agency instead of traditional taxing districts such as the city, county, schools, etc. And then it gives you that example. Key takeaway, the total tax amount remains the same, but part of it funds local URA projects instead of going to other taxing districts. This temporary tax shift helps pay for improvements that increase property values and attract new businesses.
That was so much easier.
Yep. Pretty. Explanation.
So
Hey, I got a
go ahead.
question before we get too far away from that.
Sure.
So a year from now, when we're doing this, since Main East Main is closed,
Yes.
is that gonna mean that the Port of Lewiston will have a 0 on their little dollar bill on that first page? Because I don't think the port has anything in East Orchards sewer or Dryden or, yeah.
You know, I would have to ask the county if they don't know.
Didn't know, closing. Yeah, closing.
Cause I don't
Main,
know,
East
I
Main.
don't know if you receive taxes from other areas or not. I can check with
Yeah, I'm not sure either.
the assessor's office and find out. But I don't know the answers. But I can find out.
The only thing that this explanation leaves out, that somebody could ask if they were that interested, because it's not identified as, when it says a portion of your property taxes goes towards funding local improvements. Okay, how do you get, what portion is that? What is it? How do you get that portion? So I don't know if you'd want to go into any more detail, because that's where it starts getting kind of confusing, because you're talking about establishing the base when the area is adopted, and then it's increment that increases, and then it's that portion of the increment that's figured. I don't know how you would say
But
that.
that's on this front page, right? So would we keep the two together? Or do you want to?
That's on here.
Yeah, the property.
Yeah, because it says to calculate taxes due, multiply the market value by the levy rate. Tax due is truncated after 2 decimal points. And then.
Well, that's how to figure, yeah.
Yeah, so then it says property inside a URA, and it's got the little 2 demarcation. And so this calculation does not use the current market value. It uses the market value from the tax year a revenue allocation area went into effect. In this example, the property is in the East Orchard Sewer RAA with a base tax year of 2017 and a 2017 market value. So for this particular example, they come from someone's actual tax bill of $288,284. And then 3, total tax assessment remains the same in both columns as a control figure and current market value times total of levy rate. The total tax does not change whether property is in revenue allocation area or not. The total tax due less the individual tax amount in column 2 results in a remainder. In this example, $2,060.62 that is distributed to the URA for projects in that revenue allocation area. Column 3 shows the difference between column 1 and column 2, which added together equal to.
I don't know if there's a way to merge the two. I just think this one's so much simpler for just your average person. This kind of gets.
Yeah, I would think
complicated.
we might leave that part because it
Yeah.
does, like Doug was talking about,
Yeah.
it talks about, you know, that set rate and then how you get to the number you get to. So maybe,
Could you use like the
I
top?
put this part at the top.
Or where it says example property tax breakdown, can you take that part out and just insert this whole thing and then put the key takeaways at the bottom? And just do one big document.
Yes, I can probably do that.
I don't know what you guys' thoughts.
I think it's gonna be confusing regardless.
Yeah,
Most people don't understand it anyway.
yeah. I asked ChatGPT, like,
You
can you
know,
simplify this for the public?
well,
And this is what it spit out. I
yeah,
thought
I
this-
think it's important you make the effort.
Yeah,
And,
so I don't know. if
Well,
there's-
maybe we try it that way and see if that's an improvement. And we go from there.
I like the fact that it says, you know, your tax is not going up and it kind of
No.
explains.
Yeah, I know,
And then
I
for
would
your
get phone
folks that-
calls on that because they'll just look
Yeah.
down the list and. You know, at first blush, you think your taxes are going up because of that, but you don't actually work the numbers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I like the fact that it kind of starts out just saying, no, your property tax bill is staying the same and kind of, and then maybe moving into having some of this for the more technical people that want to try to figure it out. And then the takeaway is that it stays the same, that it's just being, you know, going to different taxing districts.
Yeah.
That's my,
Allocated.
Okay, so
we could try it and see, I guess. I think it's just great to start out by saying your taxes are not going up. Some people are just gonna look at that. Maybe not.
They're not going up any more than they would have.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Good point.
Actually, you gotta be careful how you say that too, because, when you're, I mean, this gets kind of deep in the
Yeah.
woods, so. When you're removing money from a taxing entity, like Mayor Nesset said many years ago, and it's funny, the stuff you dig up when you're going through files that are 25 years old. He said those taxing entities are not just gonna do with less,
Yeah,
they're gonna have to make that up. And how do they make it up? They have to raise taxes. Unless you find a savings somewhere. Mayor Nessa pointed that out clear back in 2005. So that's always something to consider, but I don't know how you would word it to say all that.
Be
You know,
difficult.
It'd be really hard. Yeah, so. whatever.
Might throw a little more confusion into that
Yeah.
discussion. Than it's worth.
so you feel like that.
I don't know. Yeah, this is the deal. Nessa pointed out that it's still way back when it was a small amount, 47,000. That would have to come from other sources if it was taken out of the taxing entities. Revenues. So you can't, I mean, I don't know. It probably just best to leave it alone, I guess, but just so we know that, you know. I don't know what the total amount is coming out of all the taxing entities in any given year. Well, like, is that on here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's on revenue, so, but.
Yeah, so in the table 4, budget versus actual. The tax receipts,
Okay, so this would be 2024. So,
you see, we budgeted the guesstimate based on information from the tax collector's office was $1,590,000. And then actual was $2,038,547.32.
okay. So I mean, when you think about it, that, and granted, the largest amounts coming out of the city budget, so they're doing with that much less. Whatever that, 60% or whatever it was.
Yeah, that's the reality of it.
Yeah,
Still getting what they had at the base here.
the base year. Yeah,
Just
but
not
with no
getting to
growth
participate in the
figured into.
inflation.
Right.
Yeah, so, and granted, even a 3% tax increase only. What's it generate, you know, I don't remember, for the city, like 700,000 now, or 3%, I don't even know what it, for the county, it's 550, I think. Can't remember. Yeah, I'm not sure. So you'd never make up the difference anyway. Not that kind of money. So anyway, just food for thought. Probably best to leave it alone.
Okay.
Okay, any other suggestions or changes or things that you noticed that I need to adjust prior to the public hearing?
I like,
Yeah, I thought it was.
I don't even know what
Great job.
chat GPT is. I don't know what is it.
Like,
AI. artificial
Yeah.
intelligence.
Oh, is it?
I
I've
have
been
it.
operating on that for years.
Joe said something last night that it's kind of funny. It was AI stuff. It was,
That's great.
AI and, it was kind of a summary of a bill. It's down in Boise, 60-some pages, and AI brought it down to like 1 page of summary, what it is. I don't know how it does that, but that's what he did.
Okay.
I just say I'm always in favor of real intelligence instead of artificial stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, so if there aren't any other changes or suggestions you guys want to make, I will make all the changes we talked about. I made
Okay.
lots of notes. And then, like I said, we will hold a public hearing, and that's where you guys will take any public comment, and then we'll vote to approve at the next meeting.
Okay.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Is that done here too?
Yep.
Okay,
Yep,
so
that's
it's
the
a
work
noon meeting?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
The regularly scheduled meeting.
meeting. Regularly scheduled meeting. second
Which-
Tuesday of the month.
So
They'll leave it to March 11th.
March 11th and be back in DC.
Yes, you said you were not gonna be.
Yep.
Anyone else unable to be here on March 11th?
Should be.
That could be questionable. My anniversary is before that, and we could be gone for a few days.
Okay.
I'm not sure yet.
That is amazing.
I should be here.
Okay.
All right, any other questions on the review of the draft of the annual report?
I have
No
a question,
questions,
but I don't have a review.
You know, I think it looks good. I'm not sure how you're gonna tie in the AI generated stuff, but some of that's good.
Well, I'll come up with something and then you guys get to review it and tell me that it's
I know
okay or
you'll do
not.
well. I know you'll do well. You know, I might have the same feeling that some of you do. There are a lot of figures there. This is kind of our Bible, especially for the public. The only question I ever have is, I hope we're double checking the figures. That's a lot of numbers in there.
Yes.
And I couldn't begin to look at it and make a determination that anything's wrong, but, so we go on blind faith.
If that's what you want to call it, but then I will take your blind faith, but I do double check the numbers and I have someone else review them for me.
I like to check, make sure the totals from one page are the same as they were
Right.
together.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
I could see those track.
I've added them.
Yeah, and most of those tables do come from an Excel spreadsheet and they all relate to each other.
The only thing that
Those
I-
numbers do,
Yeah.
like that you can't just typo something wrong. They move from one page to another.
Big spreadsheet.
The large
I
spreadsheet.
was gonna say, the only thing I noticed was one, was it like referenced as a whole number, and the other one, it had like a rounding, there was like a rounding.
Yes,
There was
and
like a rounding thing.
I have also noticed that, and I think for, cause like the budget, we do in whole numbers, and so it's rounded. But the actual is an actual, like down to the penny. I mean, and I definitely could adjust that if that was the pleasure of the board.
I think a budget is just that, it's a budget, it's a
Yeah.
estimation for future. There's no
It's always
Quite
gonna be around
understandable if
here, no
they're
matter what you do.
variance.
All right, with that, we'll move on from the annual report, and I'll open it up for any other board comments about anything else.
I just have a question. That's what, like I said, I'm just trying to get familiar again. Does the URA have a sunset clause?
I don't believe so. I can double check from state code. I don't believe our origination documents do though.
I think it was originally created, it had like a 20 or 25-year life. or
That might
something.
So revenue allocation areas have a 20-year life.
Well, individual districts. do.
Yeah.
Right.
No, I think the whole thing.
I can check the.
Thad, do you know about
originations.
that?
Let me see if I can, I don't know it off the top of my head, but while you're talking, let me see if I can find it.
Well, I don't have much else to say. I don't know, maybe I didn't stumble onto that. I don't check stuff. I was looking through a whole bunch of stuff and it talked about, well, you know, it's only good until 2029 or something. I thought, oh, yeah, I think I kind of remember that. Well, it'd be good if we look where that is.
Sure, I can double check the origination documents.
Yeah,
All right. You have any other,
no.
I do not.
any comments? I don't have any either. I guess we can turn it over for staff comments, and then Thad can interject and finds anything.
I do not have any besides just, the poll of people to be available for that March 11th meeting. We will have the public hearing and you will be, voting to approve or deny the annual report. We will also have, the annual audit at that meeting. Professional Gage will be here to present that. And then we'll have a brief recap, on Brighton. Gotten some information from Public Works. I think that's it right now.
Okay, can I interject
Yeah.
then? Go back to circle around
So go
that.
back to you.
This is an executive summary from, didn't have a date on it. And this was highlighted by somebody else. In fact, it looks like it's been highlighted by a copy machine or something, actually. So it says, the duration of the plan and the agency is to August 2029, or until the bonds are paid off, whichever is first.
What document is that?
Well, it's titled executive summary, and then this part up above says excerpts from the 2005 plan. And, I mean, I don't know, it's all tabbed up and everything. I mean, you're talking about projects, there are 3 original projects, North Lewiston.
So I think that got amended when they added the other.
The plans,
projects.
yeah, I know you can amend the plan, but you
No, I,
can't,
I think that,
this got amended?
yeah.
They'd have to change state law because,
I.
the agencies were created for a specific amount of time. But maybe they did. I don't know. I haven't, like I said, I haven't followed it that close for a while.
Yep, well, we can dig up that
Do
information.
you wanna, as long as I get this back, you wanna hang on to it?
Sure.
Cause I really don't know where it came from. Other than a long time ago.
Is that like an executive session from one of the meetings here at the URA? Is that what that is?
I'm not even sure we put it out.
Or is that something
Well,
from
we
like at
must
the
have put
state
it out.
level?
No, this looks like it's specific to ours.
Okay.
Well, we don't have to read the whole thing right now, but
Okay, well, that's something we can look into.
the only reason I kind of wondered about that is because several of these projects, some of them anyway, take an increment that has to build up over time. And then the project itself is gonna be over time. So
Takes time.
it takes time, unless you're in a fast growing, or area.
All right. Well, we'll
You
let
can't
her,
put it down now.
we'll let her review
Well,
that.
like, because, when I had gone through all the origination documents with Thad, when you guys had asked the question about makeup of the board, I had read a lot of stuff, and some of this sounds very familiar.
Oh, it sounds familiar, yeah.
So I think it came from, one of those origination documents, because it says excerpts from that 2005 plan, which I read. And then it references a resolution, and I'm pretty sure there was a secondary resolution after that, and I do remember like it having that 2029. I think there's another resolution after that, because I don't think that came from state code. But I will do some research.
Okay.
I will confer with Thad. We'll bring back information
Oh,
to you guys.
Dad, do you have
Hey,
something?
Well, I just pulled up one of the, I didn't see anything in the origination documents, but I do see, this is for the Maine East Maine Urban Renewal Plan. There's an executive summary. I don't know if I can share my page or
You should be able to share your screen.
it says send a request.
Allow. Now you should be able to.
Okay. All right, can you see that?
Yep.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So this, does the page you're looking at look like this one with executive summary up here?
Yes. It does.
And
Very
then,
similar.
oh, here. Revenues generated through the term of the RAA. August 29,
It's not out.
2029.
It doesn't read that exact same way.
So maybe it's a different one.
Yeah, the page is a little bit different.
I'm just wondering if it's,
2 banker boxes full of crap.
so I'm just I was hoping that was the one, but it may not
No,
be.
I feel like this came from, when they like rebooted in 2005, because they had originally developed it in 99 and then it didn't move forward. But the way that it reads, I think it might come from when they redid it in 2005.
Okay,
I need to go back and pull that document.
Pat, do you
Have-
recall the state changing, something with URA, that changed it from 25 years to 20 a few years ago?
I don't,
Okay.
but that doesn't mean it didn't happen.
Okay, something about that sounded familiar, but I had another question, but I think we've been here long enough, actually.
You can ask it if you want.
Well, there's legislation moving forward. I wondered if we had an explanation about that. On URA, something to do about funding or,
Oh, it's about like fire districts being able to opt out when a
well,
new,
people can opt out.
yeah, fire districts.
It
Like
doesn't
it's
appear to
real, it's
me
real
that
specific.
that has, would have effect on us if it gets approved.
No, we
Yeah,
don't.
we don't have fire districts.
Yeah, that's the only one.
That's the only one I've seen so far.
Okay, man, that seemed like it was several pages just to say that.
I mean, there's lots of stuff in it, but that's the gist of it.
That's why you
I-
need Chat GPT.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, summarize it.
I did receive a week 7 update this morning from Broxham and Associates. I will send that out this afternoon. I don't know if that talks further about that. I didn't get a chance to look at it before the meeting, so.
All right, I guess we'll research that and bring that back at a later time. So with that, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
So, a second.
Got a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
I
All those opposed?
So who moved?
They
I
kind
don't
of
know,
both-
one of us, me, I guess.
Okay, we're gonna go Doug.
Me.
Joe seconded it.
Awesome, thanks, guys.
Perfect, thank you guys.
Which
Bye,
actually,
everyone.
this is a week.
Thanks, Dad.
I'm not sure you have to have motion.